Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I am your host of the most, as always, Francois878, and today we are going to be talking about the Nami Skyla Prime, the brand new primed dual sword introduced in update 21.6 with Hydroid Prime access. Now, when I first heard that these were going to be the new Prime, I was a little skeptical. I was like, oh, well, I guess the dual Commerce Prime are just out. I guess they're just going to get power creeped, and that's going to be the end of it. But having looked at the stats, I was pleasantly surprised that, well, the Nami Skyla does have a couple of stats that are considerably better. I would say the dual Commerce still has a little bit of an edge. I think if you were going for a 4-hour survival, I think the Nami Skyla is probably the better choice, but both are still viable in the dual sword family of weapons. Now, some basic info for the Nami Skyla Prime. It does require a mastery rank of 11 to use, so definitely mid-range there. It has a total of 60 base damage, all physical, mostly in slash. It has a 1.33 attack speed, a 20% crit chance, a 1.5 crit multiplier, and a 30% status chance. So right off the rip, damage is a little low, but it's fairly average for the dual sword family, which is nice. The 1.33 attack speed is blazing. It's tied for the highest attack speed of any melee weapon with the Typedo and the Prisma Obex, so that's great. Very respectable crit chance, absolutely blood rush, body count viable. The 1.5 crit multiplier is the only thing that really kills this weapon. That's very low for a melee. So if you can look past that, it's not a bad set of swords. And the 30% status chance allows you to get to 100% status chance with all 4 of the dual stat elemental damage status chance mods. Now, these are the builds. I have Condition Overload on this build instead of Primed Pressure Point. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Condition Overload, basically it's a mod that when you inflict a status proc onto an enemy, that enemy takes 60% more melee damage on the next hit, and it stacks. So if you hit an enemy 5 times and inflict 5 different status effects, you will be doing a huge amount of damage, and it's absolutely, the Condition Overload is an absolute must on weapons, melee weapons with high status chance. It absolutely does better in the damage category than Primed Pressure Point. Now, Primed Pressure Point is more consistent damage, and it is better on weapons with low status chance, but you can pair weapons, melee weapons with low status chance with primaries or secondaries that have high status chance to kind of mitigate that. That's a whole nother video, though. As far as the last mod on that build, I did go with Berserker. The reason I went with Berserker and not a different mod is because I love attack speed. Attack speed allows me to proc status effects even faster to get the most out of Condition Overload, as well as the status effects themselves, because status chance, in all honesty, is the way that you strip armor, strip health, confuse enemies, CC enemies, whatever you need to do. Status chance is the way to do it, and that's really what endgame is for Warframe. So you really, Berserker is great. Plus, it's you become a cyclone of whirling steel with these two. Now, the overall design I want to touch on real quick. When they first revealed the Nami Skyla and the whole Prime Access, but the Nami Skyla in particular at TennoCon, I was really, really impressed. I thought the design was great. It kept with the original look of the weapon, but it just made it look better. Which, when you look at the last melee weapon that was introduced and primed, it was, I wasn't a big fan of the design choice, you know? We're not going to talk anymore about that, because those weapons are dead to me, but that's, again, an entirely different video. All in all, when taking this into the simulacrum, I was able to handily defeat level 120 enemies, no problem, just absolutely melted them, and I was doing considerable damage to a 150. It took me a little longer to kill them than I would have liked to, but it still melted them much faster than what I was initially expecting. I was actually expecting the Nami Skyla Prime to be so I was pleasantly surprised that they can hold their own up to and above sortie level content when built correctly. Now, obviously, the build that I showed today is not the only way to build these swords. You can do however the hell you want. If you want to throw Memeing Strike on and run a super crit build, then, you know, that is that is absolutely your choice, and I respect that, and it is viable. And I just wanted to show off how I'm running it, and Memeing Strike is a very expensive mod to get your hands on, and not everyone has it, so I try not to include it on my public build videos. But that's going to be about it for the Nami Skyla. Stay tuned for Hydroid Prime coming soon. I'm a little frustrated about it, guys. I'm still frustrated. But thank you guys very much for coming by. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Warframe content coming very soon. I have been your host of the most, as always, Francois878, signing off.